things and getting their hands dirty and getting them into their world. But I'm not going to talk about how. I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about how. We are all part of how right here. I wanted to talk about why. So a few months ago, I was talking with someone about how to get kids interested in making things. And we were talking about what is the impetus that gets people interested in building something for themselves. You know, toys are cheaper now than they ever were before, and they're smarter, and they do more things. And the toy industry, so many toys do what they call play themselves. You actually turn them on and you just watch them, and the toy does all the work for you. And we were talking about what that impetus is, and I sent this guy to a link at a forum I frequent where people make and collect movie props. The Replica Prop Forum. And one of the big things that people are doing on the Replica Prop Forum right now is everyone's making Iron Man armor. Everyone wants to be Iron Man. But Iron Man armor costs a lot of money. For a full set of fiberglass Iron Man armor, you could spend between $3,000 and $8,000. Nobody has that kind of dough. However, you can take a 3D file of Iron Man and his armor, and you can run it through a program called Pepakura, and you can build it yourself. And I sent him this link of this kid in the Philippines who had painstakingly built this paper model of Iron Man armor, which he then painted with epoxy resin, coated with Bondo and fiberglass, and sanded smooth until he could wear a full set of Iron Man armor. It took hundreds of hours of his work. I hear Tesla coils spinning up. Hundreds of hours of work, and I sent him this link, and he said, wow, it is so the long way around, which is true. It is the long way around. And then he said, it'd be really great to get them to build their own things, rather than the things that pop culture feeds them. Yeah, wait a second on that clapping. I had a kind of a visceral response to that comment, because I felt a little bad. I am exactly these people. I'm making two different sets of Iron Man armor right now. Yes. You know, is there a difference? I'm not sure that dichotomy between making your own things and the things pop culture feeds you is in fact a real dichotomy. I don't think those two things are different. I've spent my whole life bouncing between those two poles. I've made hundreds of sculptures, devices, robots, furniture, clothing, for me and the people that I love, and for jobs and for a living and to pay my rent. I've also built my own R2-D2 from scratch. Anybody who went to tested.com in the last few days, I've been talking about the ZF-1 gun from The Fifth Element, which I've been working on for 10 years. One of the coolest things I ever built was one of the earliest. I built a spaceship in my mom's closet. I was working on a Super 8 science fiction film with the Caro twins who lived down the street. I think I was maybe 11 or 12. I found a couple of refrigerator boxes and I made a spaceship, which is I just put up walls and I painted control panels on this, you know, this central console, and I made a window with a star field behind it, and we filmed this Super 8 film. And when we were done with it, I asked my mom if I could put it in the old bedroom closet, because my parents had moved their bedroom. And she said yes. So I installed the console. I cut actually pieces out of it, and I put paper under those pieces. I drew radar screens, and I drew proximity sensors, and I put lights underneath, so my cockpit was actually underlit. I had a window that was separated 5 feet away from the back wall, and then I painted the whole back wall black. And I painted stars on it, and then I put Christmas lights underneath so I could sit in the seat and feel like I was in a spaceship. Why was I doing this? Because I want to be Han Solo, and I want my own Millennium Falcon. I sat in that thing for hours. Maybe not hours. But sitting in that cockpit and looking at the star field and thinking about having my own Millennium Falcon cockpit gave me an unrivaled feeling of joy. What more did I want out of the universe at that moment? To have that ship. And to have the support of my parents, to be able to go to the hardware store and buy the lights and lamps and pieces that I needed to put it together. They gave me access to their charge account in the hardware store from the time I was 11 on. Next thing I built was actually took the same technology, cardboard, acetate, batteries, and I built it all into a briefcase. Again, with switches and radar sensors and screen, not real radar sensors, Sharpie, look, says radar sensor. And I made a James Bond briefcase. Well, it could have been James Bond briefcase or it could also have been Mission Impossible briefcase.